Hey, what's up, everybody? BDR44 coming at you with another video. All right, so we have the first of 3 meetings against the Dallas Mavericks here tonight at Crypto.com Arena, second of a back-to-back. Of course, we played last night in a tournament game against the Utah Jazz and blew them out by 32 points. Felt great about that. And we were able to rest some of our starters in this fourth quarter, as you would expect, so we should be pretty fresh for tonight. I don't see Braun or AD on the injury report at all. They will be playing this evening, but we have even better news than that. Jared Vanderbilt is a game time decision. He may be making his return tonight against the Mavs, and Cam Reddish is also a game time decision, although I do think it's a good chance they let him sit this one out given the fact that he hurt his groin last night in the game against the Utah Jazz. Dallas is a team that's lost 2 straight, lost 3 out of their last 4 games. The previous matchup they had was against the Sacramento Kings, where De'Aaron Fox went for 30 points. I believe Sabonis went for 32, or vice versa. I don't remember which had what, but it was a rather comfortable win for the Sacramento Kings. Before that, they lost to the Milwaukee Bucks, where Giannis went for 40 points on them. And in a previous matchup before that, they played against the Washington Wizards and beat the lowly Wizards in a comfortable win. But a game before that, they lost to the Pelicans in a set of 2 games where they played the Pelicans twice and split the meetings. So this is a team that's kind of starting to fall off after starting the season 9-2, and then lost to 3 of their last 4, and are trying to come into our unit and our building after we just blew out a pretty hardcore scoring Utah Jazz team that was extremely cold for that particular night. The Dallas Mavericks are profiled similar to the Utah Jazz in the sense that they are very, very good offensively, but are not great defensively. In fact, they're the number 2 rated offensive team in the NBA today. And we know why that is. It's because literally every possession could potentially be a connection when you have the type of talent that they have in their backcourt. Kyrie Irving and, of course, Luka Doncic. So today we will be facing off against both of those guys. Obviously, with Kyrie coming to town, it's always a big deal, him going up against LeBron James, his ties to potentially being a Laker at some point, having it not take place, and all these different things that have had his name attached to us. It will be a very, very serious atmosphere. Of course, this is not a tournament game because they are not in our group, but we will be moving on to the knockout round of the tournament. I don't know when that game will be, and we do not yet know who we will play. But at some point in time, we got more tournament games to play because we earned that by being undefeated in the tournament. And I think our point differential was the best in the league in that tournament play. I think we won a total of our games by like 75 points or something crazy like that. So the Lakers are definitely the best tournament team in the league as of right now. With that being skirted by the fact that we were in a pretty easy group. But nevertheless, tonight, Dallas Mavericks, Los Angeles Lakers. You're talking about the Dallas Mavericks. Of course, you want to mention the rookies that they picked up. Derek Lively, believe he's a 7-foot center with long arms, block shots, can shoot the 3. Be very careful with him. Catch lobs, of course, and do things like that. Rebound the ball. He's still developing. Obviously, this is his rookie season, but they do start him and they rely upon him quite a bit. Derek Jones Jr. is in their starting lineup. Although I don't think they use him as much as they do their bench player in this situation. But you got to be careful with Derek Jones Jr. for the same reasons. He's a dunker, and he's somebody who can block shots from the small forward position. Definitely one of the more athletic players in all of basketball. Not going to do too much scoring the ball too often, but he can help them in combination areas. So we need to be careful with him. You're talking about off of the bench, a guy by the name of Tim Hardaway Jr. We know his dad, killer crossover. He is more so a 3-point shooter. He's been in the league for maybe about 11, 12 years now. Made a lot of money in this league shooting the ball. And he usually plays pretty well against the Lakers when he's healthy. They've had him missing, off and on a lot for the last couple of years, but he's 100% right now. And he's contributing off the bench quite a bit, so you got to be really careful with him. Seth Curry is expected to be a game-time decision. And I believe it's Maxi Kleber who's not playing tonight. I think they're missing one player, but I'm not really sure. But at the end of the day, I believe Seth Curry is missing with a hip. Potentially missing. He could actually play game time decision. So keep an eye open for them to basically be fully healthy tonight. That's essentially what I'm telling you. Also, pay attention to a guy by the name of Josh Green that they're developing very well. He's also coming off of the bench. very athletic players, jump shots coming along. I'm not really sure how he does defensively, but he's definitely somebody that they use a lot, and you will see a lot tonight. Omax Prosper is a young rookie that they have, also a very good defensive player. They brought in defensive reinforcements to make themselves a much more deep basketball team defensively, since they had their issues last year, of course, with our guy Christian Wood, of whom they blame for all of their interior defensive problems, and didn't play him much in the process. Of course, when you're talking about the Dallas Mavericks, you're also mentioning Dwight Powell, someone that I've been saying for a long time should probably have been traded a long time ago, but they give him some good minutes off of the bench behind Derek Lively, and he usually doesn't do a whole lot for them, just being honest. But he's on the team. You can't mention the Dallas Mavericks without mentioning the fact that he's still there, and most of the fans that I've paid attention to can't seem to figure out why no more than I am from afar. So it is what it is, man. That's just what they do there. Also, Jaden Hardy, I think his name is Jaden Hardy, also a high-level player off of their bench that they don't give as many minutes to. Probably should give him more. But if you happen to see him tonight, he's capable of going up. So we need to be very careful with a player like that who's always looking for an opportunity to play well. Dante Exum is on this bench as well. Many moons ago, I thought Dante Exum could actually end up being a pick for the Lakers. He ended up having some injury issues, but is a nice role player in this league at this point, who does help the Dallas Mavericks quite a bit. So you can see that they have a lot of role players that they use. As I said, Maxi Kleber is a player. I don't know if he's out or not, but if he is playing, and for some reason I have that wrong, you definitely know Maxi can shoot the three and play some defense. He's done some big things in the playoffs that I've witnessed with my own eyes, so I know how high his ceiling can go, and he is a dangerous player on that team. The Dallas Mavericks, you're talking about Rashawn Holmes as well, player who played with the Sacramento Kings and the Philadelphia 76ers for several years, usually injured a lot of the time, probably should be getting the minutes Dwight Powell gets. It's not getting the minutes, but was 4 for 4 in a matter of 5 minutes in the last game. I believe that was against the Sacramento Kings. I think he did that there or against the Milwaukee Bucks. I'm not really certain. But nevertheless, he did have a very high efficiency game in extremely low minutes. So I would imagine they would consider giving him more minutes, maybe even tonight. At the end of the day, this is a two-man team, man. We're not going to pull any punches here. It's all about Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving. Luka Doncic is averaging 30 points, 8 rebounds, and 8 assists on the year. Obviously an MVP candidate, obviously one of the best players in the world. And you're going to have to stop him if you want to have any success against the Dallas Mavericks. And stopping him is not something that teams do. It's just not being done. So you're going to have to understand that's why they're 9-4 or 9-5 at this point. It's because this dude is really, really great and is likely going to do amazing things on this basketball floor tonight. A showcase game for a superstar in LA. They're going to try to do their best. So he's had some hot and cold moments throughout the course of this losing process. 3 out of 4. For his standards, kind of going cold, that kind of thing. But I don't expect that tonight. Now with Braun on the floor, he's always waking up for us. Kyrie Irving, of course, we know what Kyrie can do. We all know the best ball handler maybe in the history of the world. I think it's pretty certain he is the best dribbler of the basketball we've ever seen. And, he's one of the most skilled basketball players we've ever seen as well. Dude can pretty much get a bucket anywhere, anytime. One of the greatest finishers in the paint as well. Just going to have to try to take advantage of him on the defensive end, try to draw fouls against him, because the best Kyrie is a Kyrie sitting down. Because if he's out there, he's going to hurt you on the defensive end, just like Luka the Don is. So we want him to be swiping. We want him backpedaling. We want to put players on him that likely are too difficult for him to defend and put them in positions that have him fouling. That is the best way to guard Kyrie Irving. Because if you're thinking you're going to get stops against his ball handling as he's dribbling and shooting, you're not. He can go for 100 points if he really is in his bag. And I'm not exaggerating at all. I think his talent could actually go that far if he really were to take every shot. So this is the type of dude, just like Luka Don, where because they're so gifted, you have to try to figure out how to best deal with them spacing-wise. They're going to play off of one another. They're going to make plays for one another. They're going to hit a lot of shots, and they're going to keep their team in the game, if not blow you out. So that's really what their talent does, man. We're definitely going to need a fantastic game from both of our superstars in order to make that happen. Bron James, I think he only had like 15 points, 9 assists, and 7 rebounds last night in limited minutes, of course. That was all we needed from him since it was such a massive blowout. So hopefully he'll be very fresh for tonight's game. And I'm pretty sure when Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving are on the floor, he's going to be wanting to do something special to offset the fact that they're down there. And that's what I expect from him. Anthony Davis has been having 2 in a row extremely efficient basketball games shooting the ball after countless complaints about him not scoring enough and not doing enough and being hurt and all this other stuff. He's basically only missed like 7 shots in the last 2 games on the average of like 15 or 16 attempts. So he's really, really scoring the ball specifically against these last 2 teams. So I think that when you start seeing Anthony Davis surging in that direction, you know something big is coming. We know his ceiling is crazy. He can go for 60 points, 7 blocks, 20 rebounds. He can do things that most people just simply cannot do on a basketball floor when he starts getting in his offensive groove and the ball is falling for him. Of course, his jump shot, we started the season off with him shooting under 20% in his jumper. A lot of that had to do with the hip. Hopefully he's shaking some of that off so we can get back to his high efficiency ways. And that's what it seems has happened here, even though he hasn't been taking as many jumpers or as many threes. He's been in the paint. He's been doing things that help us, jump hooks and things of that way that really help. So this is one of those situations where we're going to need him to be at a very high level to offset the MVP-like ability of Luka Doncic. That's what it really comes down to. If we don't have the best version of Anthony Davis, it's going to be a damn good chance we don't win this basketball game. You got to score with these guys. Just like I said about the Utah Jazz, if you do not score upwards of 130 points, do not expect to win this basketball game. That's just what I'm telling y'all, man. Second night in a row, we're going to have to score a lot to win. We got away with it against Utah because they could not throw a rock in the ocean. I think that was an anomaly basketball game. If we were to play Utah again tonight, it probably wouldn't go that same way. You need to score a lot against them, and you need to score a lot against the Mavs. It just is what it is, man. This is not a tournament game, meaning I hope that the energy necessary for us to win this game is met, is down there on the floor, because a lot of times we show up for tournament games this year and maybe not so much other games. That is not how we need to approach this basketball game. We only have 3 meetings against this team that is undoubtedly going to be in the playoffs, and if we are going to be in the range of being a contender, you want to win season series against teams like this who have great records but could slip at some point. If they fall in our range, you want to know you have won the season series against them. 3 meetings, you got to get this one. This is your home game. I don't know if the next game's at home or next to. I don't know how that's slotted. We got to win this particular game in Staples or Crypto or whatever. But that's what I really want to emphasize, man. Our team has very much shown up for play in season tournament games, but that energy isn't often matched in these regular ones. So please, Lakers, show up. Christian Wood had a really nice game last night. He's starting to find his efficiency, starting to get his attempts up and things of that nature. But this is a team he played for, and the last time we ended up running into teams that he played for, he didn't do well. The Houston Rockets, 2 meetings, he only attempted 5 shots between the 2 of those meetings. So hopefully that's not something that carries over to the Dallas Mavericks. He should have a chip on his shoulder about how everything went with the Dallas Mavericks, so I'd imagine for him to show up. I would imagine he would show up and want to play his best basketball against them. And we'll see how the rotations shake up if Vanderbilt does indeed play tonight. That might have something to do with it as well. Rui Hachimura, we need him to also step up. He hasn't been as efficient as he had been in the past. We're going to want that to come back around and really be a high-level scorer for us this evening against the Dallas Mavericks, a team that some people have rumored he's probably ended up getting traded to, given the fact that Kyrie Irving is over in Dallas, and the way to match the salaries is D'Lo and Rui for Luka. So I know that, for Kyrie. So I know that's going to be on his mind. If it's not on other people's minds, I'm pretty sure it's going to be on Rui's mind. So hopefully he'll come out here and play well in response to that concern. Also, Taurean Prince has been struggling really, really bad scoring the ball. I've been calling for us to be proactive in limiting his minutes and removing him from the starting lineup. I'm just not a believer. And it seems like he doesn't believe very much in himself as of right now. So hopefully he has a bounce-back game, shuts me down in regards to all these complaints. Because we really need him to play better, especially since he's getting the minutes that a starter would receive. So I need Darvin Ham to take a look at that, pay close attention to that, especially since Cam Reddish could potentially be missing tonight. I really don't want to sit up here and see Taurean Prince bricking 1 out of 10 and 1 out of 11 all night long, man. and getting blown past by Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic. It's just not necessary. That's not even who he should be slotted as in this league at this point in his career. He's a role guy. Slot him down there, man. Move up Rui Hachimura, play more Austin Reeves, play more Max Christie, since we saw Max yesterday and he did pretty well with the minutes given. This is what needs to happen with the small forward position. Not necessarily going to the older guy who's just not playing well, man. Not even for his standards is he giving us what we expect from him. He was a guy who shot 40-something% from the behind the arc in the corner last year. He's giving us like 20% or something. I mean, he's just not. He's one of them dudes who put on a Laker jersey and forget how to play, man. So I'm cool. I am super cool. Let's move on from him. So, Austin Reeves, man. Love what he saw from Austin Reeves over the last couple games. He's been finding his confidence after playing pretty poorly himself. Coming off of the bench seems to be a good move. Darvin did that and made for a more comfortable Austin, it seems. And we really, really love what we're seeing from him. He's shooting the ball well. He came through in the clutch a few nights ago. In that game against the Rockets, I believe it was. He hit 2 big threes and ultimately helped seal that game. And we also saw him play extremely well last night in the Utah Jazz matchup, where he was just all over the place, doing everything we needed him to do off the bench, scoring the ball, making plays, getting steals, stuff like that. So hopefully this can continue on a path of keeping Austin feeling confident in playing his best ball and just shaking out of this season-long slump that he's basically been in all year long. D'Lo Russell, we also been very pleased with D'Lo here and there. He didn't have a good game against the Rockets. In fact, he was very, very poor against the Rockets, but then bounced back last night and had a really solid game against the Jazz. So which D'Lo are we getting tonight? No one ever knows, but hopefully we'll get good D'Lo, because we're going to need that against the Dallas Mavericks, and he too needs to consider the fact that there's a chance he can end up in a Dallas Maverick uniform if the Lakers do opt to make a trade with the Mavericks. Because like I said, it's Rui and his contract are the one that's going to match it for Kyrie. So I would expect them to have that on their minds anytime they see the Dallas Mavericks. So, that's kind of where my head is. Hopefully Cam Reddish can go. Hopefully Vando can go. And if that is the case, we're going to have a really nice defensive team from here. So it's super exciting to have the Vandalorian potentially be a game-time decision this evening, potentially play. He's definitely a game-time decision. And so that is what we've been waiting for all year long. All Laker fans have been unanimously waiting for the Vando to return. That's for damn sure. So, yeah, man, Anthony Davis, LeBron James, we're going to need these players to play at a very, very high level to offset Luka Doncic, man. That's what it really comes down to. Entirely too gifted. His usage is sky high. He's going to do everything his team needs him to do. Pass and rebound and shoot and big body. You know what he's going to do in the paint. You know what he's going to do from behind the arc. You know what he's going to do, period. Luka Doncic is one of the best players in the world. So if you don't expect that he can do very, very unprecedented damage to you tonight, you're a fool. It's that simple. You had better expect it. You could expect his numbers to go way up. You can expect him to be at an all-star level. You could expect him to break records, because he's just that kind of guy, man. So we need to understand that when we come down there with whatever rotations and lineups we use. If you don't take him absolutely as seriously as you take a guy like Larry Bird or Magic Johnson or Michael Jordan, you could find him doing special stuff to you. You don't want it to happen. So be very, very aware of what he can do. And I'm pretty sure the whole league is. So that's what I need to say, man. It ain't that deep. He could run off 10 threes tonight. He could run off 17 assists, 20 rebounds, 60 points. All of this is possible. You don't expect it necessarily, but just like with a guy like LeBron James and Anthony Davis, this is the type of guy that is. So you got to be very careful not to disrespect him by putting players on him that cannot keep up with him. Nobody can guard him, but definitely don't put anybody tiny on him, and definitely don't put nobody like Taurean Prince on him. Thinking you're going to have success, you're going to go for 60 on Taurean. I'm telling you, don't do it. So this is why I hope Cam Reddish is able to go. This is why I hope we do allow Vando to go. This is going to be necessary against a super offensive team. So we need our defensive players in there, and we need them tonight. So that's really what my thought is, man. The Lakers played great against the Utah Jazz, even though Utah couldn't hit a shot. We still did what we need to do on the offensive end to match what it is we expected them to do, and I think the same is going to be necessary tonight. 130 points. I'm calling for it again. We need to score a lot tonight to beat this team, man. we understand that they don't defend just any better than the Utah Jazz do. In fact, they're one of the worst defensive teams out there from what I've been able to see. With the efficiency rating, their defensive rating, is somewhere in the 20s. So they're not going to lock you down, even though they have guys like Lively and Mo Max and Derek Jones who are supposed to help them defensively. As a unit, that's not what they do. So we should be able to attack them. And again, I want to mention the importance of having guys like Christian Wood step up, Rui Hachimura step up, whether Vando's out there or not. We're going to need our forwards to step all the way up. We had a pretty good game out of a guy like Jackson Hayes last night. He played really well in the game against the Utah Jazz. We're going to need that energy to continue, and that's what it is, man. Hopefully we'll have another big victory tonight so we can rest some of our starters. We got a road trip coming up. We'll be playing the Cleveland Cavaliers after that. After Thanksgiving, of course, everybody have a fantastic meal and time there. But for now, this is what we got, man. The Dallas Mavericks this evening on the second of a back-to-back. I hope we're not sluggish like the last back-to-back where we thought we did good, sitting our starters, getting a blowout, came in the next night and got blown out. So sometimes that's not a perfect science in regards to thinking you got rest. We need to just bring the energy necessary and remember that it ain't just the tournament that we're playing for. We need to win these season series against these potential playoff contenders, and Dallas is definitely one of them. So that's pretty much what I'm thinking, man. We're going to see some unique uniforms tonight. The Dallas Mavericks are going to be wearing white on our uniform. We're going to be wearing yellow. So that's what you're going to see tonight. The game is at 7:30 Pacific time, 10:30 Eastern. And that is pretty much where my head is, man. I think I said everything I wanted to say. Hopefully the Lakers continue to respect the rebounding. We did better against the Utah Jazz and the Houston Rockets in rebounding the basketball, so we want to continue that. We did not do well turning the ball over against the Rockets, but I think we did much better yesterday against a bad defensive Utah team and not turning the ball over as much, so we were happy about that. Our three-point shooting has improved some. We shot, 37% last night. Very inconsistent in that way, but we want to continue to see the shot fall for us. And again, I'm excited about the Vandalorian, man. I want to see him play tonight. I don't know if they're ready to bring him back. Maybe he needs one more night off, but this would be a great time to bring Vando back, especially against this type of offensive talent, man. So that's what I'm hopeful will take place, man. He is a game-time decision. So that's pretty much what I have to say, man. Enjoy the game, BDL 44. I thank you all for watching. Wow.